There you are. Your kid is holding a D&D book with outstretched hands, begging you to run the game for them. They have a small sack slung over one shoulder filled with multicolored dice. Their enthusiasm is overflowing. But where exactly do you begin? I mean, the player's handbook is hundreds of pages long. Is your 6-year-old going to remember all those rules? Are you going to be able to explain them all in a way that they will understand? Will they sit in a chair to listen to you explain just one page of rules? Hi, I'm Lucar, and on this channel I share my nearly 30 years of Game Master experience so that you can run amazing games that your players will love. Today we're talking about how to run D&D and other tabletop RPGs for young children. And if you're looking for an age range that the advice in this video pertains to, I would say that we're talking about children under 10 years old. Once a child is about 10, you can pretty much just run standard D&D for them, I feel. But before then, there are some special considerations to take into account. By the way, if you enjoy the content I create and find the information in my videos useful, the best way you can support what my team and I do is by becoming a DM Lair patron at the link in the description. In addition to helping us create more content for Game Masters, you'll also get an issue of Lair magazine every month. Lair magazine is our premium publication that contains 5th edition and Pathfinder 2 adventures, encounters, traps, puzzles, magic items, and other Game Master resources. DM Lair patrons also get to submit ideas for videos and even vote on a video for me to make every single month. In fact, this video right here is one that my patrons have been asking for, and today they get it. What to expect from young players. The first thing that you should expect from younger players is a limited attention span. I was in a game once where the Game Master had his son of about 6 years old playing with us. And let me tell you, that kid had his butt in the chair for maybe 5 minutes before he raced off to do something else in the house. And then his dad would call him back every time he needed to roll dice. That was about the limit of his personal attention span. Although everyone does vary, of course. But I think it's safe to say that young children can really only be expected to sit still in a tabletop role-playing game for perhaps an hour, maybe 2. You're also gonna find that kids tend to want to have a beginning, middle, and end in one game session. Cliffhanger endings are great for adults, but not for small children. They want completion. Young children also are very focused on the play aspects of the game. That is, they want to use the toys of the game. They want to roll dice. If you use miniatures, they're going to want to move them around, and they're likely to knock them into each other to show that they're attacking. If you give them props, they're going to want to use them. Things that are tactile and apply to the action of the game are great, though kids like handouts as well. Kids like action, but action isn't always what you think. First, children act in extremes, but not always the same extremes. For instance, some kids want to murder everything they encounter. Other kids may want to make friends with everything. I know that when I was running D&D for my daughter, she really wanted to talk with everything, and she really didn't like combat that much. I think that in many cases, what is more entertaining early on in a D&D game will probably become the norm. If your kids get more laughs out of murdering everything, they'll continue to murder everything. But if they have more fun making friends or collecting pets, that's probably what they're going to be doing most of the time. Oh, and kids love loot. Be prepared to give them lots of it. However, here's the thing. Children do not like to lose. Adults get over a character death or even a TPK, but that sort of thing might cause kids to not even want to play the game anymore. I suggest challenging children in the game, but not putting them in a position where they feel like they can't win. Otherwise, they're likely to lose interest or just quit outright. Over the course of play, and especially as the kid grows older, you will want to introduce the concept of loss and subsequent perseverance. Everyone needs to learn to overcome setbacks in life and to persevere in the face of defeat, and a D&D game can be used to teach that lesson. I would just be careful on the timing on it is all. Adventures. Adventures should be age appropriate and focus on things that motivate kids. If it's your own kid that you're running the game for, you should, as their parent, have a good idea of the different things that interest them. As mentioned before, keep your adventures short. Now, kids have massive imaginations and will not be bound by the classic tropes of fantasy, so be prepared to go big and outside the box. The following shows are great for understanding the kinds of adventures that will appeal to young children. My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. The first couple seasons of this series actually feel like they were born from somebody's D&D game. Dragon Tales. In this show, kids and dragons adventure together. That seems pretty appropriate. Hilda. Here, a fearless girl travels in a world of elves and giants. Adventure Time. A boy and his dog adventure in a magical land. This show will prepare you for the chaos of children in a tabletop role-playing game. DuckTales. Both the classic show and the reboot are all about kids going on adventures. I used to love DuckTales when I was a kid, by the way, if it's the same one now. And then nearly anything from Studio Ghibli for the more bizarre. Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Princess Mononoke, for older kids, I don't know how to pronounce that though, and Spirited Away. Do note that children are less likely to be motivated by goals like seeking an ancient treasure and more motivated by things like rescuing the kidnapped unicorn. Also, children don't necessarily understand the value of money, but they certainly understand the value of things. Therefore, chocolate coins, cute companions, and a magic sword are better rewards than silver and gold. Also, don't forget that you can use adventures to teach children while they play. Math skills are obvious, but decision making, discourse, making moral choices, environmental values, these are the sort of things that children usually don't learn from books. Tabletop role-playing games are experiential, which is a great learning tool for children. By the way, if you're finding this information useful, please give me a thumbs up and share this video with a fellow game master. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, why not subscribe while you're at it? Practical advice. The first bit of practical advice that I can give you is that children will need help, at least in the beginning. The first and most obvious form of help that a child is likely to need is with their character sheet. At a minimum, they're going to need help creating their character, but you might be best served to just create it for them. Obviously, ask them what they would like to play, perhaps list off the different classes and what they can do, and get the different races that are in the game. And then of course, they're gonna need help learning and remembering the rules. It will also be important to explain to them why the rules work the way they do, as children will want to understand this. We know this because they constantly ask us why, don't they? Next, give children clear goals. Do not be ambiguous or vague. Decision making is another area that you're going to need to provide guidance. Children may get stuck in a decision-making rut, or they may not fully understand the scope of possibilities available to them. There is nothing wrong with laying out a range of things that they could do and explaining to them the benefits and drawbacks of the various options. You should not tell them exactly what to do. Instead, I would recommend giving them suggestions and then allowing them to make the final decision. Adults often complain about railroading or linear adventures, but children need the rails or the game will fall into chaos quickly, which I suppose isn't a bad thing if you're really good at improvising and following the kids where their imaginations want to go. However, kids are chaos, and you need to be prepared for that if you let them off the rails. Is D&D the best system for young players? The long and short of it is no. D&D or other rule-heavy, complex tabletop role-playing games that are designed for adults are not ideal for children under the age of 10. Instead, I would recommend picking up game systems that are specifically designed for younger players. I've also developed my own basic 2d6 system that would work very well for children. First, let's talk about 4 different game systems that I recommend for young players. Hero Kids. This Any award-winning game system is an adamantine bestseller on DriveThruRPG. It is probably the most popular game out there for small children. Amazing Tales. This system is a little more complex than Hero Kids, but it also has supplements available for use in homeschooling and for special needs children. No Thank You Evil. This Any and Origins award-winning game lets children play any character they can imagine. RPG Kids. This is one of the oldest RPGs made just for kids and is available on DriveThruRPG. It's a simple system for fantasy RPGs and is made to play entire adventures in just an hour or two. My basic 2d6 system. I designed a super basic 2d6 system with rules so lightweight that you could teach them to a kid in under 15 minutes, if not even less time. And here's how it works. First, you make a character sheet on an index card. You are an elven wizard named Trixie. You like fire, and you have a jar filled with eyeballs. All the characters have 3 hit points. That's it. Character creation is done. Anytime Trixie attempts to do anything in the game, the player rolls 2d6. A result of 1 to 3 is a failure, 4 to 9 is a success, and 10 to 12 is a great success. You'll notice that because of the way math works with 2d6, the majority of the time players will succeed. Only rarely will they fail at something. Let's say Trixie is in combat against a group of 6 goblins. Trixie can declare that she throws a ball of fire at the goblins. She rolls 2d6 and the result is a 7. That is an ordinary success, so one of the goblins is defeated. Then Trixie calls down fire from the heavens. She rolls a 3, which is a failure. The flames miss the goblins, who swarm around her and attack. Trixie loses 1 hit point. Finally, Trixie causes fire to leap out from her body in all directions. She rolls an 11, which is a great success. This defeats all of the remaining goblins. Let's say that Trixie is walking down the hallway and she decides to use her jar of eyeballs to magically see into a room. If she rolls a failure, it doesn't work. If she rolls a success, she is able to see into the room. If she rolls a great success, she sees into the room and learns another bit of important information. And it's pretty much as simple as that. A player is able to declare almost anything they would like to do, and a roll of 2d6 determines what happens. And you will notice that in this system, the Game Master doesn't roll any dice. The player does all the dice rolling. And that's just what I think. Let us know in the comments what you've learned about running D&D for kids. And don't forget, if you'd like to support our content, such as videos like this one, consider becoming a Lair patron at the link in the description. Now, if you'd like to learn how to quickly create amazing NPCs and villains for your games, watch this video right here. And until next time, happy game mastering.